Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever. And today we're going to do some piano music. You know, we don't do enough of that, really, actually, but there's just so much, and it's like it's an endless well of musical delight that we dip into periodically. I guess we'll do some more. But for now, everybody wants to have a disc of Beethoven popular sonatas. You know, the ones with names. The Moonlight, the Pathéthique, the Appassionata, the Waldstein, Les Adieux. Sometimes the Hammerklavier, but not usually because that's a little tough. But, you know, the popular ones with nicknames. Oh, my goodness, they're so much fun. They really are. I remember when I was taking piano lessons and I was learning to play the Pathéthique. That's the one that I think everybody learns, the one with the name that everybody learns, because it's got that fabulous brooding slow introduction and the gorgeous slow movement. Oh my goodness. And the fun rondo finale. Oh my goodness, I just loved it. I played it so badly. It was embarrassing, but oh, the music was so gorgeous. And it was so much fun to work on, you know, to learn. And that's really was the point, you know, back in those days anyway. And now I am much happier listening to other people do it, far better than I ever could. So every pianist worth his salt, just about, I mean, practically every pianist does a disc of popular Beethoven sonatas. So there are about, 80 or 90 trillion of them available by famous people and people you've never heard of. But, you know, some of them are just extraordinary and special. And this is one. I've talked about it years and years ago, but it's time to introduce it again to those of you who haven't heard it and to include it in this series. Ivan Moravec. And he's doing here, let's see, on this particular disc, this is on VAI audio, but it's been repackaged since, I think by Superfon and other people. But in any case, you've got the Appassionata, the Pathéthique, the Moonlight, and Les Adieux, 4 sonatas. And oh my God, one of the great Beethoven sonata discs ever in the history of humanity. There's no question about it. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's all the more precious because Moravec was an incredibly self-critical artist and very, very selective in his repertoire. And he didn't play all the Beethoven sonatas. And he didn't record all the Beethoven sonatas. So it's precious. It's special. There's value in scarcity. Let's put it that way. I mean, these are pieces he worked on with incredible intensity. And the playing is perfect. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. And the sonics are great. Even though they were recorded between 1962 and 1970, Moravec was a chord guy. But he was a chord guy who could do lines. He had the best of both worlds. He cared hugely about sonority. He used to carry around with him his own little piano tuning kit so he could, you know, sort of fix his pianos as necessary. I mean, you know, he really cared about instrumental sonority and touch and tone, but it was all placed at the service of the music. And in Beethoven's music, of course, you've got music of great turbulence, even violence in places. And he doesn't ever diminish that quality in Beethoven's music, but it all projects with this sort of glowing, gorgeous sonority that's really very, very special. The Appassionata, it just surges, you know, with emotional force. It really does. I mean, the Pathéthique is by turns touching and turbulent, and it has that, you know, youthful, impetuous, brooding melancholy. Boy, there's a concatenation of, you know, incompatible terms, isn't it? But no, it's so dramatically apt, but at the same time controlled. Everything is shaped and projected in a way that, you know, I don't know. It's like nobody else did it. Really amazing. The Moonlight. Oh, the first movement of the Moonlight part, the part with the, you know, supposedly sounds like Moonlight, whatever Moonlight sounds like. incredible. But, the thing about the Moonlight Sonata is that, after the first movement, you've got that, kind of, lilting central movement and then a violent finale. And wow, he can really nail that finale. It has that winter wind sort of, chill to it. And oh my God, the guy's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Les Adieux, has that heartfelt opening and then the ecstatic finale when the friend returns. Amazing. Just amazing. Moravec was an artist to the tip of his stubby little fingers, and he had stubby little fingers. If you ever saw him, if you knew him, I mean, and I knew him well. He had, not you would think ideal piano hands, and yet the most magical sounds came out of the instrument, and he was the most, humble and delightful guy. So this particular disc of Beethoven sonatas is special, not because I knew him and because I know he was a delightful guy, but because the playing is at such a rarefied level of excellence and interpretive insight. And he never had a reputation that was commensurate with his talent. He didn't, because he was living behind the Iron Curtain for one reason, and second of all, because he was so particular about his instruments and his repertoire, and he was in that respect he was a very difficult guy. I mean, he knew what he wanted to do and what he could do and would only do the best, and that was not always consistent with the way today's concert organizations and concert life operates. But he enjoyed a surge of popularity toward the end of his life, and that resulted in the reissue of some of these original Connoisseur Society recordings that he made. And my God, are they marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. So if you love your Beethoven sonatas and you have not heard this, then you have not heard your Beethoven sonatas. It's unquestionably one of the greatest recordings ever. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.